Alright, Sunday, November 1, 3:45 p.m. and the clock was moved back at midnight, so it would have normally been 4:45, but still a little bit sunny. And lots of wobbly wheel issues with the van. Well, this the one that's been on the driveway, the one I'm going to use in the winter. So, okay, tie rod ends. So pop the wheel off, and I started at, dang it, probably 15 minutes ago. And so I'm ready to pop the thing off. I got myself a $15 tool. This thing's awesome. You just bang on it, go pop, pop the little thing off. But let's take a look. That sounds pretty cool. Just kept ringing on. But there's the steering knuckle, there's the bad tie rod end. It's all mashed and loose. So I broke the nut free. I popped that off real quick. And I just have to pull that off and turn it off and put the new one on. So it should be a pretty quick job. I just got to count the number of revolutions on the threads. Might as well call out some sockets. So bottom is a nut with washer combo, and it's an 18 millimeter. And then I just take the tie rod end removal tool, make sure that the flat end is on the bottom. And let's get my hand out of the way. And let's get in there a little tighter. And I just put it right in under there. And I go bang, 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 after, of course, the nut's off. And it just pops right off. Then I loosen the thing and I count the number of turns, put the new one on, bolt it together. Woohoo! Of course, now that I just popped it out a few seconds ago, let's turn it a little bit. Take a look at how loose it is. It's like completely shot, ready to break any minute. Really has to be done. So, and as you can see now that it just turns real easy, and I just count the number of turns. Make sure that I, like Steven says, write it down. And if it's a half a turn, whatever, just count the exact number. Screw it back on with the same number of turns. Let's see what happens next. Oh yeah, one more thing. Of course I like the OE Plus. And it's only a couple bucks more and it's in a way better part. So the new one went on in 13 turns, exactly the number. And interesting thing is the threads are different. These are coarser threads. Of course, this nut was like with washer built on, and I was going to reuse it because it's in extremely good condition. But because the threads are so different, I have to use the one that comes with it. The one that comes with it is a washer, and it's not the same size socket. It's a little bit smaller socket, but there's no cotter key for it. So now I have to go get a cotter key when I'm done, but I can still drive it. But all those dumb little things that happen, eh? So let's see if I can just show. So the bolt's turned so that it's lined up right for the cotter pin, and the threads don't want to turn too much past that point. So I mean, if I was to crank it any tighter, it wouldn't do much more good. So I just need a cotter pin for that. Okay, self-timing, 4:09 p.m. And before I even jack the vehicle up and put a jack stand under and pull the wheel off. So we'll do that part first, time that, and then we'll split it in half and see what the side 2 looks like for timing. So it got a little warmer out, so I took a layer off. It was good. Max is still hanging with me. But the cool thing is, well, I had a nut that I had to put back on 3 or 4 times and kept lubing it up and scratching all the crud away from the bottom of the thread. But it got jammed really tight, and so I was using a small socket because the end of the bolt has a thread on it, so you can put the socket on it and hold it and spin the large nut off. But that only worked so much, and so I basically had to shred the rubber seal where the lubricant sits so that I could just get the last bit of the nut off. Had to use some vice grip pliers and crank it hard on the shaft above. Anyway, Max is barking, distracting me. So anyway, I finally got the darn thing off. That was 30 minutes of frustration on the second side rather than the first side, so I didn't set expectations on the first side. But again, 10 minutes once I got the nut all the way off. Boom, boom. And this one was like 14 and a half turns instead, so slightly different. But I didn't have to use the oh my gosh, tie rod tool to bang it off. It just came right out. But the reason why I'm sort of filming this a little bit more is the fact that this is the same exact part number. I checked the box. Both boxes have the exact same part number, and they're completely different parts. And I was thinking, is this a right and a left thing? And it's not. One of them has this one on the right side. I'll just try to do this. Where's my... There we go. So there's no grease nipple on this thing, and it's like Permaseal. And the bottom, no cotter key, and it's a different thread. It's got a torque prevailing nut on the bottom. It's a different thread. It's no hole in the shaft for the cotter key. The nut's different. And of course this one's quicker and better. You just crank the nut on and it's torque prevailing and off you go. You don't, it's like a lube free joint. And I'm like, oh. So the guy picks the same exact part off the shelf, two totally different parts. Same spec, like just so now I have two. I wouldn't want to pull it all apart and just go back and go, I'll open the box, I want one of these other ones, right? So we're done. Again, super quick job if you don't have a problem with things being seized when you take things apart. That's always the problem, is you don't know how long it'll take to get the seized parts off. So now I just pop the wheel on and tie rod ends are done in like literally, I mean it takes 3 minutes to jack the vehicle up, you know, a few minutes to pull the wheel off, and 10 minutes to pop the tie rod end in, and it's a quick and easy task. Highly recommend anybody do it. And there you go.